When it comes to relationships, one of the most important elements we often overlook is emotional maturity. This is especially true when an older woman finds herself drawn to a younger man. It's easy to assume that age alone determines who should teach or guide whom, but emotional maturity is far more complex than a number. Each person brings a unique blend of experiences, wounds, triumphs, and lessons learned. Understanding this complexity is crucial for building a healthy connection rather than inadvertently creating tension or frustration. Emotional maturity is not about knowing everything or having mastered life. It's about being self-aware, compassionate, and capable of managing one's emotions in a way that nurtures both yourself and the relationship. In a dynamic where one partner is older, there can be a temptation to unconsciously expect the younger partner to act in ways that mirror your own life experiences. You may think, "I've been through this before, so surely I should guide him." While guidance can sometimes be helpful, it's important to recognize that younger men are not incomplete versions of yourself. They are individuals on their own path, with different experiences shaping how they approach love, commitment, and intimacy. When an older woman imposes expectations based on her life timeline, it can feel overwhelming to a younger man, especially if he's still exploring his own identity or figuring out what he wants. Respecting emotional maturity means accepting that he may react differently, make choices that seem illogical to you, or move at a pace that doesn't match your own. Patience is essential. A relationship thrives when both partners allow each other to grow. If an older woman assumes she must speed up a younger man's maturity, she risks creating resentment rather than connection. Emotional maturity is cultivated over time, often through trial and error. It cannot be rushed, and it cannot be forced. Instead, it should be supported. This means creating a space where vulnerability is welcomed without judgment, mistakes are seen as learning opportunities, and communication is clear yet compassionate. When a younger man feels accepted for where he is emotionally, he is far more likely to engage deeply, openly, and authentically in the relationship. It's also important to examine your own emotional maturity in these dynamics. Sometimes, the tension in a relationship stems from an imbalance in expectations. An older woman may unconsciously project her anxieties, fears, or past disappointments onto the younger partner, expecting him to act as a stabilizing force or to validate her life choices. Emotional maturity is recognizing these impulses and managing them responsibly. It's about knowing the difference between offering support and demanding compliance, between nurturing and controlling. When you approach a younger man with self-awareness and clarity, he is more likely to respond with trust and respect, rather than defensiveness or withdrawal. Another key aspect of respecting emotional maturity is embracing the difference in life experience without judgment. Younger men often have a different lens through which they view the world. They may take risks, prioritize social experiences differently, or approach commitment in ways that feel unfamiliar. Rather than criticizing or attempting to correct him, recognize these differences as part of who he is, celebrate his perspective, learn from it, and allow the relationship to grow through mutual curiosity and respect. Emotional maturity doesn't require erasing differences, it requires integrating them in a way that fosters understanding and connection. Finally, it's worth noting that respect for emotional maturity benefits both partners. When a woman honors where a younger man is emotionally, she not only prevents unnecessary conflict, but also cultivates a deeper, more authentic bond. He feels seen, heard, and accepted, which encourages him to bring his best self to the relationship. This does not mean excusing immaturity or avoiding difficult conversations. Rather, it means approaching challenges with empathy and perspective. Relationships flourish when both partners are committed to growing together, acknowledging strengths and weaknesses, and respecting the natural pace at which each person matures. In essence, respecting emotional maturity is about balance. It is about recognizing that love is not a competition or a hierarchy of experience. It is about holding space for someone else to be fully themselves while staying true to your own values and emotional needs. When this balance is achieved, the connection becomes richer, more resilient, and profoundly fulfilling. In any relationship, control is one of the most subtle yet destructive forces that can quietly undermine intimacy. When an older woman is involved with a younger man, the temptation to exert control can arise without even realizing it. This is not about overt manipulation or aggression. Often, it manifests as subtle behaviors, suggesting what he should do, deciding how he should spend his time, or even critiquing his choices under the guise of helping him grow. While intentions might be good, control rarely creates connection. It creates tension, resentment, and a sense of imbalance that erodes trust over time. A healthy relationship is built on equality, mutual respect, and the freedom for each person to navigate life in their own way. Older women often carry with them a lifetime of experience, knowledge, and accomplishments. It is natural to want to share that wisdom with a younger partner, but there is a fine line between guidance and control. Offering advice is different from trying to dictate behavior. Advice is given with openness and the understanding that the other person has the right to accept it or not. Control, on the other hand, removes autonomy, subtly implying that one person knows better simply because they are older or more experienced. In relationships with age differences, this dynamic can become particularly pronounced. The younger partner may feel as if their individuality or decision-making ability is being undermined, leading to frustration, withdrawal, or even rebellion. Control can take many forms, and it's important to recognize the patterns before they become damaging. It might appear as constant questioning, "Why did you do that?" Or "Are you sure about this?" It might appear as scheduling or managing his life in ways that are unnecessary. Sometimes it comes across as judgment disguised as concern. "You shouldn't feel that way," or "You should act differently." Even small, seemingly harmless actions can accumulate over time, creating an invisible barrier between two people who genuinely care for one another. The younger man may start to feel judged or infantilized, which prevents true emotional intimacy from developing. Avoiding controlling behavior requires a high degree of self-awareness. The first step is to reflect on your own motivations. Ask yourself, why do I feel the need to influence his decisions? Is it out of genuine care, fear, insecurity, or a desire to assert authority? Understanding the root cause is crucial because it allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Once you identify the motivations, you can begin to practice restraint and shift towards support rather than control. Remember, supporting someone does not mean molding them into your version of an ideal partner. It means respecting their individuality and helping them feel confident in their own choices. Another key aspect is fostering trust. Trust is the opposite of control. When a younger man senses that his partner respects his judgment and decisions, he feels empowered to contribute fully to the relationship. This creates a sense of partnership, where both people feel valued and heard. Control, conversely, communicates a lack of trust. It implies that one person is incapable of making decisions on their own, or that their experiences are inferior. Over time, this dynamic can create resentment, erode confidence, and drive a wedge between partners. Emotional closeness cannot flourish in an environment where one person constantly feels monitored or directed. Communication plays a pivotal role in overcoming controlling tendencies. Rather than dictating what should be done, it is far more effective to ask, listen, and collaborate. Phrases like "How do you feel about this?" or "Would you like my input?" empower the younger partner to express their opinions and make choices independently. This approach transforms interactions from a power struggle into a dialogue. It demonstrates that both partners have equal value, and it nurtures mutual respect, a cornerstone of any successful relationship. It's also important to cultivate patience. People grow at different speeds, and younger men may approach life, love, and commitment differently than an older woman expects. Pushing too hard or trying to control outcomes can backfire. A relationship that is allowed to evolve naturally, with space for mistakes and learning, often becomes stronger and more resilient. Over-controlling behavior may provide a temporary sense of order, but it rarely produces genuine connection or long-term satisfaction. Finally, avoiding control is about embracing humility. Even with more life experience, no one has all the answers. Acknowledging that your partner may approach situations differently and that their approach can be equally valid is a sign of emotional maturity. It demonstrates respect, patience, and a willingness to grow together rather than impose your own narrative. When control is replaced by trust, support, and open communication, relationships flourish. Both partners feel safe to be themselves, to explore, and to share their deepest selves without fear of judgment or correction. Ultimately, avoiding control is not a limitation. It is a doorway to deeper intimacy, connection, and trust. It allows love to be collaborative rather than hierarchical, empowering rather than restrictive, and fulfilling rather than fraught with tension. Relationships thrive when both people feel seen, respected, and free to grow together yet independently. One of the most important qualities an older woman can bring to a relationship with a younger man is a strong sense of independence and self-confidence. These traits are not only attractive, they are essential for creating a healthy dynamic that allows both partners to thrive. Independence does not mean emotional distance or detachment. Rather, it means having a life identity and goals that are fully your own. Confidence is about knowing your worth, trusting your instincts, and showing up authentically in the relationship without needing constant validation. Together, these qualities create a foundation of respect, admiration, and balance. When a woman maintains her independence, she communicates a subtle yet powerful message. She is complete on her own, and she is choosing to share her life with someone else, not seeking someone to fill a void. Younger men, like anyone else, are drawn to partners who exude self-assurance because it signals emotional stability and clarity. It also prevents the relationship from becoming a codependent pattern where one person leans excessively on the other for happiness, validation, or direction. Independence allows space for both partners to grow individually while building a shared life together, creating a dynamic where each person contributes fully and authentically. Confidence plays an equally crucial role. Confidence is not about arrogance or trying to dominate the relationship. It's about understanding your own value and approaching the relationship from a place of security rather than fear. When a woman is confident, she does not feel the need to control, manipulate, or overanalyze every action of her partner. Instead, she trusts herself, trusts him, and trusts the process of building a relationship. Confidence allows for open communication, honesty, and the courage to address challenges without resorting to blame or insecurity. It's magnetic because it inspires respect and encourages a younger man to rise to his best self rather than retreat into defensiveness or passivity. Valuing independence also means maintaining personal goals, hobbies, and friendships outside the relationship. These aspects of life are vital because they keep your identity intact and prevent the relationship from becoming your entire world. A younger man will feel more respected and inspired when he sees that you have a life full of passion, purpose, and fulfillment. Independence does not create distance, it creates a sense of completeness that allows love to flourish naturally. It prevents the subtle trap of relying on him to meet all your emotional needs, which can be overwhelming for someone still developing their own emotional maturity. Moreover, independence and confidence create an environment where honesty and vulnerability can exist without fear of judgment. A confident woman is able to express her desires, boundaries, and concerns clearly and calmly. She does not demand approval or try to manipulate outcomes because she trusts herself and the relationship. This allows a younger partner to open up emotionally, knowing he is safe to be himself without needing to perform or prove his worth. When both partners feel secure in who they are, love becomes a collaboration rather than a negotiation, and intimacy grows naturally. Another critical aspect is self-respect. Independence and confidence are intertwined with respecting yourself. This means not tolerating disrespect, dishonesty, or neglect, while also understanding the importance of giving respect in return. By modeling self-respect, a woman sets the tone for the relationship, creating a standard of behavior that encourages a younger man to meet her at a similar level of maturity and consideration. It's not about setting rules or ultimatums, it's about showing through actions that you value yourself and the connection you are nurturing. It's also important to recognize that confidence can be contagious. A woman who embraces her independence inspires the younger man to pursue his own passions, take responsibility for his growth, and engage more fully in the relationship. Rather than relying on you for guidance or validation at every step, he learns to trust himself, which benefits both partners. This dynamic transforms the relationship into a partnership, where growth, exploration, and support are shared rather than dictated. Lastly, valuing independence and confidence helps prevent common pitfalls in age-gap relationships. It reduces the risk of power struggles, codependency, and resentment. It ensures that the relationship is based on mutual desire and respect, rather than fear, neediness, or control. By maintaining your own identity, staying confident, and honoring your own journey, you create a connection that is genuine, resilient, and deeply satisfying. Love becomes a choice freely made by two complete individuals who are willing to share their lives while retaining the freedom to be themselves. In essence, independence and confidence are not just desirable traits, they are the pillars that allow a relationship between an older woman and a younger man to flourish. They create respect, inspire growth, and ensure that the connection is rooted in authenticity rather than insecurity or imbalance. By valuing your independence and nurturing your confidence, you empower both yourself and your partner to build a relationship that is fulfilling, harmonious, and enduring. In any relationship, communication and boundaries are the invisible threads that hold everything together. Without them, even the strongest connection can fray under the weight of misunderstanding, assumptions, and unmet expectations. This is particularly true when an older woman is in a relationship with a younger man. Age differences often bring different life experiences, priorities, and emotional perspectives, which can easily lead to misalignment if communication is not intentional, clear, and compassionate. Clear communication is not just about talking, it's about listening, understanding, and expressing yourself in a way that fosters trust and connection. Boundaries are equally essential because they define the space in which both partners feel safe, respected, and free to be themselves. Clear communication begins with self-awareness. Before expressing your needs or concerns, it is important to understand your own feelings and motivations. Ask yourself what you truly want from the relationship, what makes you feel valued, and where your limits lie. This self-reflection allows you to articulate your thoughts in a calm and constructive way, rather than reacting impulsively or defensively. When you communicate from a place of clarity, it reduces misunderstandings and allows your partner to respond thoughtfully. Younger men, in particular, often appreciate honesty that is delivered with care and respect, rather than criticism or accusation. Listening is a cornerstone of effective communication. Many conflicts arise not from what is said, but from what is not heard. Truly listening means giving your partner your full attention, acknowledging his perspective, and validating his feelings, even if you don't always agree. It requires patience, empathy, and the willingness to understand his worldview without immediately imposing your own. By listening attentively, you create an environment in which he feels safe to share openly, which strengthens trust and deepens intimacy. Communication becomes a two-way street, rather than a lecture or debate. Boundaries are equally vital in maintaining a healthy, balanced relationship. Boundaries are not walls, they are guidelines that define what is acceptable and what is not, what supports your well-being, and what crosses into discomfort or disrespect. Establishing clear boundaries early on prevents misunderstandings and reduces the likelihood of resentment building over time. They also help both partners understand each other's needs and limits, creating a mutual sense of respect. For example, a boundary might involve how much time you spend together versus pursuing personal goals, how you handle conflicts, or what topics are off limits until trust is deeper. Boundaries are acts of self-respect and communication. They protect the integrity of the relationship while allowing each person to remain fully themselves. Consistency is key when it comes to both communication and boundaries. Inconsistent messaging or shifting limits can confuse a younger partner and create anxiety or insecurity. If you establish a boundary, honor it. If you express a concern, follow through with constructive action or discussion. This consistency demonstrates emotional maturity, builds trust, and sets a standard for healthy interaction. It also models for your partner how to communicate his own boundaries and needs effectively. Relationships thrive when both people feel seen, heard, and understood, and this can only happen when communication is clear and boundaries are respected. Another critical aspect is honesty without judgment. Clear communication means expressing your feelings and expectations truthfully, without shame or fear of conflict. It means sharing both joys and concerns in a way that invites dialogue rather than defensiveness. At the same time, it requires refraining from judgment when your partner expresses himself. Emotional safety is essential. A younger man will only be open and authentic if he knows he will not be criticized or dismissed for being himself. This mutual openness allows both partners to navigate challenges with empathy and understanding, rather than resentment or fear. Boundaries also allow for growth and exploration. When a younger man knows that he is free to express his individuality and pursue his goals without interference, he is more likely to engage fully in the relationship. At the same time, the older woman maintains her sense of self, preventing codependency or over-reliance. This balance encourages both partners to develop emotionally, to communicate their needs clearly, and to resolve conflicts constructively. A relationship without boundaries risks becoming a space of confusion, unmet expectations, and silent frustration. With boundaries, love becomes a partnership built on clarity, respect, and mutual support. Finally, clear communication and well-defined boundaries are not one-time actions, they are ongoing practices. Relationships evolve, and so do the needs, desires, and emotions of each person involved. Checking in regularly, revisiting boundaries as circumstances change, and maintaining open lines of dialogue ensure that the relationship remains healthy, dynamic, and mutually satisfying. They create a foundation where both partners feel empowered, respected, and free to be fully themselves, allowing love to flourish naturally and sustainably. In essence, communication and boundaries are the lifeblood of a thriving relationship. They are not restrictions, but tools that create safety, trust, and intimacy. When approached with honesty, empathy, and consistency, they enable both partners, regardless of age difference, to connect deeply, grow individually, and nurture a relationship that is resilient, fulfilling, and enduring. In the end, relationships thrive when they are built on respect, trust, and authenticity. Age differences may bring unique challenges, but they also offer opportunities for growth, learning, and deeper connection. By respecting emotional maturity, avoiding control, valuing independence and confidence, and maintaining clear communication with healthy boundaries, both partners can create a relationship that is balanced, fulfilling, and lasting. True love is not about changing someone or filling a void, it is about growing together, supporting each other, and celebrating the journey of two individuals choosing to share their lives fully and freely.